we are watching it from a new improved place. I understand that we are getting closer to this thing, and Mark, I understand that you can give us an update on the traffic. Mark.
I understand now that the clock is ticking down. We're expecting it to happen any second now. 30 seconds away, I'm told. Obviously, there you can see the blast starting to happen inside the stadium now. There it goes. Obviously a painful, and it's falling down. And with it, the memories live. But obviously the stadium where those memories took place will not live into the next millennium, into the next minute, it looks like. The dust rising from home runs to home rubble. Atlanta Fulton County Stadium blown down, imploded. Who doesn't expect the memories of those championships of the 90s to live? But obviously the stadium now is gone. Dale, how does it look on the ground?
Mark, I gotta say that was absolutely amazing. Narrated so well. Look at the smoke. I mean, the thing, if you were here, if you didn't have the privilege of being here, I mean, you could feel the blast. I could feel it pounding off my chest. Felt like a really hard rain shower without the wetness. That was really strange, but as you saw, it happened exactly the way they said it was going to. The implosion started on the north side of the stadium and very methodically started its way counterclockwise and clockwise around the stadium and finally ended up here on the south side of Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. You know, I'm looking at the aftermath as the smoke is beginning to rise and to clear. And it's funny, it doesn't seem as though it's as far down on the south side as it does to me on the east and west side. But, you know, you can't really reduce this thing to absolute rubble. They're going to have, get this, 30 tons of concrete to clear off of this area, and they're going to have a lot of structural steel to take away. But the good news is, get this, in the very correct 90s, we're going to have a 90% recycling of this material. They say that it's going to take at least 5 seconds to clear the dust from this area, depending on the wind. And we do have a slight breeze blowing right now. I would estimate it at, what, 5 miles an hour. The way that the people reacted here at Turner Field at the Coca-Cola Pavilion, people were just in awe, along with me. Mouths were agape, and people were just amazed the way this thing came down. It happened exactly the way they said it would, but wow. I mean, that's all I can really say. Mark, could you feel anything up there in Chopper 2? Could you feel it or hear it at all?
No, we couldn't, except we felt the excitement of it all, but and it surprised me that we couldn't, I didn't even feel a tremor other than the normal whirring of the blades up here. You can see the dust on the view from the ground, and certainly we can see that cloud billowing away now. Certainly those last moments, I'm sure, were dramatic ones for those who were waiting for the implosion of the stadium, especially for those who I guess were sad to see it go. But no, I was surprised that we could feel nothing up here except for the drama of the moment. Dale?
Thanks, Mark. It's really funny, isn't it, as the dust continues to expand. I was expecting that we'd see more at this point. We are about a couple of minutes after the fact, but it's getting even foggier and dustier. But like I said, they say that it's going to clear out within mere minutes of this happening. I'm going to pull somebody in here to talk about this thing and to get a reaction as to what it was like. Let me get out of the way. But this is Matt Cooper, and Matt has been watching this thing from the very beginning. Matt, what did you think about it?
I thought it was wild, the way explosion. Even though they said it was coming, it just still rocked me when it hit.
What did it feel like?
Felt like somebody had a drum right next to my head.
Oh, that's a perfect way to describe it. It's like being in the stadium of a football game with a big bass drum right beside you, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Were you surprised at being able to hear all the explosions exactly as they happened?
Yeah, that was pretty weird.
Have you ever seen anything cooler?
No. No.
Great, Matt. I appreciate that. I'm still amazed that it happened exactly the way they said it would, but with 50 experts working on the thing, it should have happened exactly the way they said it would. I don't know if you can see this right now, Carol, but there's dust falling on us right now. It's really wild, and you can smell the dynamite. You can smell the aftermath of this blast. Smells very interesting, and I hope that we're not totally covered by a cloud in mere moments. But we're going to stay here and continue to cover this thing. We're live at Turner Field, Coca-Cola Pavilion. Carol, back to you.
Well, thanks to Dale and Mark. That was absolutely amazing to watch back here. Atlanta Fulton County Stadium has a strong history here. The stadium hosted the Braves, Falcons, even the Beatles. Channel 2's Pam Martin takes a look back at some memorable moments in the stadium's history.
It took $16 million and just 51 weeks to build. In 1966, Major League Baseball and football get a home in Atlanta. Hank Aaron is among those getting the key to the city. The Braves open against the Pirates with a tough 3-2 loss in 13 innings.
And, of course, Atlanta Fulton County Stadium came down just moments ago. We want to take another look at that. All of those memories are now in a pile. Watch as it comes down. It comes down in sort of a circular motion. It goes around counterclockwise. It took 55 separate explosives to bring it down. And the whole thing took about 27 seconds. And there it goes, a whole lot of smoke. Now we want to check back with Mark Winnie. He's been up in Chopper 2 all morning watching the traffic, which did have to come to a standstill in that area. What's happening now, Mark?
Well, the traffic looks like it's still being held up. They started to move just moments ago, but looks like they're still holding traffic up, at least in places. Still a lot of debris in the air, a large cloud, and it looks like it's kind of drifting over the interstate. So that may be one reason that they're holding it up. In the meantime, you can see the field of dreams come true now, a field of destruction, its own destruction. The skeletal remains, the rubble that was once Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. We're going to stay on top of the situation. For now, this is Mark Winnie reporting live from Chopper 2. Carol?
Update the big story of the morning, the implosion of the stadium. And right now we want to talk to D.H. Griffin. He is with the company that brought it down. Would like to know how things went. Are you pleased with how it went this morning?
It looked to me like the job went real well. Done a good job with it. Went just as planned.
What was the biggest challenge on this job?
Well, really, I hadn't had that much to do with the whole job. David Jr. and Steve and all of them had put it all together. But from what I can see, the job done real well.
It was fascinating to watch and see it kind of move around in a circular motion. How did that happen?
They set it up in sequence, come right around, started at one point and went all the way around the stadium and finished up.
Well, it looked like everything went real well. What happens now?
Oh, we're going to get in there the next week and start cleaning up and start moving all the metal and recycling all the steel and clean up the whole job in about 45 days.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us, Mr. Griffin.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And now we want to check back with Mark Winnie, who's in Chopper 2, with an update on the traffic situation out there. Mark?
Carol, the traffic has now started to flow again. I think it's going both directions now on the interstate by the stadium. As you can see, that cloud has cleared considerably. It moved off toward the west. I couldn't tell if it looked like any of it was going to settle on the nearby neighborhood. I think maybe it was rising into the atmosphere, but we'll get a better idea of that from the ground. But as you can see, traffic now flowing. But the sight from the ground is much different than it has been for decades here in Atlanta, because Atlanta Fulton County Stadium has been imploded. Reporting live from Chopper 2, Mark Winnie, Channel 2 Action News.
Pile of rubble. Channel 2's Dale Cardwell begins our live Team 2 coverage on this morning's stadium implosion, and you got to see it firsthand, Dale.
I did, Carol, and it was very, very cool. That's the only way I can describe it. Now, let me show you something right now. For the very first time that anyone has ever seen in Atlanta, or anywhere else for that matter, a view from the south to the north of the downtown city skyline. This is the view from Turner Field. You used to couldn't see it, but check that out. The beautiful golden dome of the state capitol. And this is the view that everybody will be able to see when they come to Turner Field and watch a Braves game, where they used to come to Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. It was fantastic. I mean, the dust hit us, the smell of the gunpowder and the dynamite came this way, and it was almost like volcanic ash hitting us, but very exciting. Young man I interviewed said it was like sitting beside a band at a football game and hearing a marching drum pounding beside you as those 57 separate detonations went off. You know, it's kind of a bittersweet thing for a lot of people, especially for Braves employees. And I'm standing here with Sandra Long. Sandra has been here almost as long as the Braves. And Sandra, just tell us what it was like for you.
Well, it wasn't a marching band for me. Every explosion, it just brought more tears to my eyes. We have a beautiful new stadium now, but I'm really sad to see the old one go.
You said something that was so poignant about your son and your memory with your son and the Braves. Tell us that.
I remember we had our oldest son shortly after Wayne started working with the Braves, and he was 6 months old, and I was in his office, and he was just too young to know anything, 6 months old, and I was rocking him, watching, waiting for Hank to come and hit the home run. I'm like, and finally he did, and now, 24 years later, it's just unbelievable that it's gone.
And where is your son today?
He lives in Dallas now. He's a pilot.
He's a pilot. He's no longer rocking in your arms.
No,
wow.
But he cares about his mom, and he checks on me often.
Great. Sandra, thank you so much for sharing that with us. Like I said, a lot of bittersweet memories up here. I talked to a gentleman just a few minutes ago who used to be a scorekeeper for the Braves. He said it was tearing his heart out to watch the old stadium go down. He says at the same time, it's wonderful to have such a good facility here at Turner Field. I'm going to go up to my colleague now, Mark Winnie in Chopper 2. Mark, has the traffic started again?
Yes, it has, Dale. I tell you, you know, a late inning collapse is one thing, but what a collapse this was. Only once in the life of Atlanta Fulton County Stadium has it known a collapse like this, and of course it was in fact the death of Atlanta Fulton County Stadium, I guess you could say. I want to pan over to show the traffic moving on the interstate a bit slowly, southbound it looks like at least, and then we'll pan up a little southwest, I think, from the stadium, and you'll see that cloud. I guess it's kind of reminiscent of that song, Dust in the Wind. We're going to stay on the scene here. Oh, one more piece of information from the Channel 2 control room. Atlanta Police Department, I'm told, estimates 30,000 people. 30,000 people came and saw the implosion, saw the end of an era. Mark Winnie reporting live from Chopper 2 for Channel 2 Action News.
Thanks, Mark. And as Mark just said, a big crowd turned out for the Atlanta Fulton County Stadium implosion. Last week, demolition crews wanted folks to stay home while they brought down the Omni. But this week, they invited people to come down and watch as the stadium was blasted. Channel 2's Sarah Abbott is at what's left of the stadium with more of our Team 2 coverage. Sarah?
Well, Carol, it was a moment that thousands of people have been waiting for. Hundreds of people were down here really early this morning for this implosion. We were with a crowd about a block away from the stadium waiting for it. We didn't hear any kind of warning. All we heard were the bang, bang, bangs. People had just a look of amazement, and then they started cheering. What do you think?
It wasn't as loud as the Omni. The Omni was much louder.
It was pretty amazing. It looked like dominoes falling down. It's kind of sad at the same time because there's a lot of history here.
I've been to the stadium for a lot of years, and I wore my old Braves cap just to see it go.
My uncle used to work here, so it's like history.
Now it's all gone now. So
I first came here in 1966. It's my first baseball game, and my boy's first baseball game, all at that stadium.
Well, after the implosion, everyone just came rushing up to the stadium, and people are still here. They're kind of lingering around, taking pictures and talking about something they'll probably be talking about for a while. And we are here live at what used to be Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. Sarah Abbott, Channel 2 Action News.
30,000 people, that's a lot of memories. Thank you, Sarah. And still to come on Channel